Hello everyone, this is Jiuyue here. It's been a few days since I did a reaction video to the Donghua series Fei Ren Zai. So today I'll be watching episodes 15 and 16. So yeah, please join me. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe the video. So as always, I'm going to skip the opening.
Erlang 显圣，杨戬登场。
三人跟随我，长得。
The god Erlang comes, Yang Jin. Bro 3 eyes, Yang Jin took after me and is a really handsome guy.
可帅了。
I think that's supposed to say looks after me.
臭狗，要不要玩飞盘啊？
今天不了，回头再约。
小天，要不要去散步？
抱歉，今天不去了。
小天，去喝一杯啊！
下次吧，我现在正忙。
I wonder if anyone's ever been neglected by their dog. As in, like, you go up to a dog, you want to play with it, but it decides to just ignore you and walk off somewhere else, anticipating something else to happen.
小天今天这是怎么了？看小天这样子，大概是杨戬来了哟。杨戬，二郎神。
Yeah, so that's what he looks like.
杨戬。
The god that basically can fight on an even footing with Son Wukong or Son Goku in Japanese, or known as the Monkey King in English.
这位传说中的帅哥，我还没有见过他呢。
Yeah, and he's legendary, so that's quite handsome
我今天
as
真的
well.
太随便了，少女的心思你不懂。
哥，
小天，我给你带了羊肉串。
哥，我帮你拿包。
小天，想我了没？这段时间乖吗？
都是骗人的，诈骗了。
西哥不在的时候，我都严格要求自己，
好久不见呀，感觉你又长高了。
请不要破坏我的发型。
I love Xiaoyu's reaction to it. She's all smiles and everything. She looks really cute, but the words she say,
请不要破坏。
"Do not mess up my hairstyle, please." Her character's so perfect.
还有这只小狐狸，背毛有光泽无异味，摸起来十分柔软。白色狐狸，北极狐，还真是少见。看起来营养还不错，就是有点瘦，还是再多吃点吧。
For all of you who don't know, his third eye allows him to see the reality of everything. So as I mentioned before, Yaoguai in Chinese mythology can shapeshift, and they usually shapeshift into human form once they've retained a certain level of cultivation. And this eye allows him to see through all transformations. It's one of the tools he uses to see through Son Wukong's disguise as a temple.
这个大叔，好吗？
小狐狸，他怎么了？
少女的心思你不懂哦。
嗨，小狐狸，好久不见。
又来，这种学长式摸头大法。
我给你带了礼物，对小狐狸的身体有好处的，一定要吃啊！
这种暖男式撩妹，根本把持不住啊！狗粮。
哟，小兔子，你比昨天更可爱了。最近我买了新的兔粮。
Oh, look at Xiaoyu's face. She's like, so annoying.
什么时候去我店里尝尝？我送你2包。
都说了，请不要破坏我的发型。在他眼里，我到底像什么啊？狐狸还是狗啊？
哦，对了，可以请你到我的咖啡厅里坐坐吗？
我去。好啊。哎，这就是杨戬的店吗？看起来不错。
You can see the influence, as I said before, with Japanese animation, especially with the
小狐狸，
shoujo romance, I guess, shoujo comics.
为什么突然请我到这里来啊？难道是？
小狐狸，
什么事？
我看你背毛柔顺，品相又好，想必心地也十分善良吧？是这样，我想请你帮个忙。放心吧，你不会有什么损失的。
不是9月吗？
小花鸟，
啊，
我想请你帮个忙。
I find it completely hilarious that this guy, who's famous for having Xiaoting, the guard dog, the heavenly dog, as his companion and pet, has opened a cat cafe. The total opposite of what a dog lover should be doing. But as we can see in this, he's completely obsessed with anything that's furry and fluffy.
小知识，二郎神和李冰有什么关系？
What's the relationship between the god Erlang and Li Bing?
二郎神的原型
One of the symbols of the god Erlang is Li Bing,
之一是李冰，是战国时的
a hydraulic engineer in the Warring States
水
period.
利家。秦昭王时
He was a
担任
governor
蜀
of
郡守，
Shu during the time of
Zedong.
Emperor
在当地担任蜀郡守，
Qin Shao, and carried out water conservancy projects. Really?
在当地兴办水利工程，其中
The most famous of which is Du Jiangyang.
最有名的是都江堰，当地人为他
People
建
built
庙
a temple
叫
near Li
李
Bing Temple to thank him.
冰庙。宋代的时候
In the Song
附近
Dynasty,
出现
there was a Guangkou Erlang Temple
了
nearby.
灌口二郎庙，有人管
Some people called the Li Bing Temple the Erlang Temple.
李冰庙叫二郎庙，于是李冰
Then Li Bing became the god. That's kind of hilarious. Because of the location of two temples, people started to confuse a temple that was dedicated to someone else to a different god.
就成了二郎神，但李冰这个
But the name Li Bing looks nothing like Erlang.
名字和二郎一点也不像，所以
So it's also believed that Erlang is the son of Li Bing.
也有人认为二郎是李冰的二儿子。
So yeah, the name Erlang is this one here. This is the Chinese symbol for two, and this is long, which is technically I guess you could say it's man, but also it's something else. So it's more like a gentleman or something. And then Li Bing is this one here, the symbol for Li, and Bing, which is ice in Chinese. Yeah, I find this story kind of hilarious, really. So one has been deified because of his contribution to the nation in water conservancy projects. I'm pretty sure it's probably conservation, or maybe something to do with dams, or maybe building reservoirs to make sure that the water of the nation is continuously running and there's enough for everyone to drink and to sustain life in cities. Whereas Erlang, he doesn't explain what he did, but it's kind of funny that people started just mistaking the two for the other. Okay, so this is the end of this episode, so let's go to episode 16. And as always, a large-scale reality deities quarreling show.
行神仙吵架真人秀。
It's obvious that I win.
明明是我单方面胜利。
小玉，你吃饭了吗？吃的什么呀？
So as I've mentioned before, in China, the school uniform is very simple. So unlike in Japan and Korea, where they have skirts for girls, blazers and trousers for boys, or gakuran in Japan, and the sailor uniform as well, Chinese schools tend to have the jersey, or as the Japanese call it, the jersey or PE kits. As you can see, they're just wearing these normal kind of sports uniforms here. You know, so what you wear underneath isn't important, it's what you always wear on top, and this is what you always wear on top. The idea is that it's always comfortable for the students to be wearing these. It also serves very functional as well, so that they don't actually have to care about how they look. It reduces the amount of attention that they will put towards their appearance as well, because the focus of going to school in China is to learn. So to promote that, they wear very simplistic uniforms. But I like this design of Xiaoyu. She hasn't got her long hair yet, and she's got this really cute kind of hairstyle at the same time, and her ears are standing to
今天早
attention.
上吃的是什么？晚上
Shouting
要吃
just
什么？
annoying
对了，你昨天
everyone.
吃了什么呀？那昨天早上呢？昨天中午你又吃了什么？前天呢？前天呢？
聊什么呢？
哦，
你给我出去站着，顺便把碗擦洗了。
That's a very cute chibi form.
小天啊，你这2天怎么变得这么严肃了？虽然你这个样子比以前帅了。
你大概是不会理解的。对狗来说，我们对主人是负有责任的，要用认真专业的态度对待养我的三眼哥，以便满足他的一切需求。这是我一直恪守的信条，也是我存在的意义。
你先从路灯上给我下来。
等等等等，一个一个来。乖，你这个小家伙真可爱啊！
I wonder if dogs act like that. Seeing their masters petting other people's dogs the same way that they pet them. Do they get jealous? Do they act differently?
哥，你怎么可以这样？你不是养我了吗？你怎么可以有其他的狗？
我就摸摸嘛。
不是很懂你们狗。
It's kind of like if your girlfriend sees you doing that to other girl. It's like, oh, I'm just touching. I don't think that would cut it. This is also very cute as well.
平凡朴素的毛茸茸们是治愈人心的世界第一名。
山野传说里的奇珍异兽拥有更加独特的魅力哦。
So you got 2 gods, one who loves mythical animals and the odd creatures, and the other one loving the cute common household pet.
你的品味真是奇葩到没要求，大盘子头。
你多一只眼睛也没法提高自我审美啊。
放慢点点，眼都干了。今天就先饶了你。
也罢，大光像也快没电了。
That actually runs out of power. He has to charge it from the mains, and he has to do eye drops.
哪吒，先吃饭，写完作业再玩。
哎，玩到一半这是干嘛呀？
I love that reaction from Naruto. As soon as he hears that, he just drops and leaves.
你这样看
So
着
well disciplined.
我都说了不要打扰哪吒学习。啊！什么？杨姐，杨姐，你等等！
He broke his hand.
哎呀，哪吒干嘛呢？看书。在看什么啊？《山海经》这本书里有很多眼熟的妖的画像，我刚才还看到了九尾狐。
So this is the Mountain Sea Classic that we hear in the additional information area at the end of the episodes.
九尾狐在哪里？我们九尾狐可是既高贵又优雅的妖怪呢。
I love that. So she says that we Ninetales are yaoi of elegance and dignity. She shows off. And this is kind of true. This is what most people in the modern age think of Ninetales. A very beautiful fox, very dignified.
你很美丽啦。
But that is actually the reality of what Ninetale fox looks like in records. I mean, credit to where credit is due. Like, obviously, when people used to draw, their drawing wasn't the greatest. There wasn't really a focus on the arts as there is in the kind of like Renaissance era. They didn't reach that kind of art style Renaissance until probably around the Tang Dynasty, I would reckon, where there was more focus on painting and drawing. Because after all, there was this entire warring period during the earlier periods, and people's focus were less on drawings and more on survival, like making sure that there's enough rice, there's not flooding, there's like more things to worry about than drawing. The fact that these kind of drawings still actually got passed down is probably the more amazing thing. The portrait of the nine-tailed fox is reasonable compared to this poor guy. Xingjian. This is crazy. So this is the guy who has no head. His head is basically his torso. So here they've got this weird beard or skirt on him. It just looks like a crazy streak. Holding an axe and shield. When it's drawn like that, it doesn't actually look too bad, but it doesn't look like a fox. Interesting facts. Pegasus in Mountain and Sea Classics. 中的天马。
海经中的天马。山海经北山经曰：右东北
200 miles northeast or eastward.
北200里，曰马。
There is a mountain called Marchen with many beautiful stones.
马城之山，其上
The north of the mountain is rich in metal, minerals, and jade.
多文石，其因多金玉，有兽。
A beast which looks like a white dog with a black head lived in the mountain.
焉，其状如白犬而黑头，见人则
It always flied upon seeing people.
飞，其名曰
It
天
was
马，
called Tianma. Its cry is its name.
其名自叫，长得像狗，叫声却
It
是
looks like a dog, but its cry is Tianma.
天马，可以说是很任性了。
How wayward. So it's kind of jokes, really. So this Tianma, which is basically when you write it in the Chinese symbols, is Tian for heaven and then Ma for horse, so heavenly horse. So it doesn't actually depict a Pegasus like the ones in the Greek mythology with a horse with wings. Instead, it's supposed to look like a dog. The reason why it's called Tianma is because it makes the noise Tianma. It's kind of similar to how in China we call a cat Mao. The reason we call it that is probably because it makes the sound meow. You know, this is like one of those complete direct translations of the animal. You know what I mean? Oh man. I actually wonder if this character voice actor, his name's called Ding Dong in this, which is basically the name that the Cantonese broadcasting station had put on to Doraemon when they first got the rights to broadcast it in Cantonese. So Doraemon was not known as Doraemon in Hong Kong. It was actually known as Ding Dong because of the round bell he had around his neck, his collar. And his voice actor is a very famous and beloved voice actor in, I would say, in whole Guangzhou, because despite limitations of like Hong Kong news and stuff like that being able to get across the border, broadcasting was one of those elements that never got restricted because you can't really control what is traveling over the airwaves. So a lot of people I know from Guangzhou had grown up watching Hong Kong TV shows, and they actually grown up watching anime that was dubbed in Cantonese, and they themselves grew up watching Doraemon known as Ding Dong rather than Doraemon. It wasn't until a lot later that they somehow reverted the name back to Doraemon instead of Ding Dong, which is kind of like one of those time period cultural gaps as well. Because if I talk to someone young about the character, I now have to refer it as Doraemon rather than its original translated name. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I found this episode to be quite good. If anything, Erlang's son was not the same kind of god and deity I had pictured in my head. He turned out to be kind of like a hipster, riding a bicycle and then having these like cat cafes that he's basically running for his own entertainment rather than other people. Man. Anyway, please join me for the next one. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers and also to reach 4,000 watched views. Please share if you know anyone who might be interested. And thank you for joining me. Have a nice day. And if you're in London, stay cool. It's going to be heating about 40 depending on some places. And if you're traveling by public transport, carry some water. And if you don't feel well, don't travel at all. Keep safe, everyone. Bye bye.